Hello, everyone. Welcome to our June webinar, AI-powered software migration, the future of seamless transformation. I'm very happy to welcome you today. And together with Andre and Liv, we are going to talk about some very interesting aspects about the AI-powered migration software. But we are just waiting for the others to join, and we are going to start in a couple of minutes. So in 1 or 2 minutes, we are going to kick it off. Okay, I see that we are almost there. People are coming. Just a few more seconds and we will take it off. I'm super excited about today. And it will be a bit different than the other ones because on top of sharing with you the insights that we learned so far from the industry, we are going to also have an interactive part. But I don't want to spoil the surprise and just stick with us. And yeah, you will see some very nice practical applications of what we're going to talk about. Wonderful. So I would say that we start. Again, hello everyone. I'm happy to have you here today. I'm Roxana Staneu, Head of Growth in Minded. And today, together with my colleagues Andrei Saiz and Livia Miron, we are going to talk about AI-powered software migration, the future of seamless transformation. Andrei and Livio have prepared a mixture between the insights and technical part, but also some interactions. So towards the second part of this session, we are going to jump into a demonstration, a live demonstration, that you will be able to actually see what they are going to present. And to kick it off, I would like to start with a small surprise. Andrei, if you can go to the next slide. So you will have the chance to win 3 free AI and automation workshops for your business. We are going to announce the winners after the session. So if you're stick with us up until the end, you will get the chance to win a 2-hour workshop for you and your team, in which we are going to basically analyze and discuss together with you what we are going to find out today. So fingers crossed, and yeah, have a look on your email and we're going to announce the winners. And before going into the technical part, because I know that's the most interesting part and why you are here with us today, I would like to tell you just a short story about Minded. If you can go to the next slide, please, Andre. So in a nutshell, Minded was founded in 2015. And yes, this year we celebrated our 10th anniversary. And Minded is the product and product software engineering company and the data analytics company. We have 4 delivery centers in Romania and the business development office in Frankfurt and one in Zurich. And from the very beginning, we have been lucky to work with enterprise customers from retail in Germany and Switzerland. And we share a deep expertise when it comes to the whole retail life cycle and process optimization and business excellence. We also have experience in business financial services, but our strongest pillar is in retail. And when it comes to what we can do, we have a strong expertise when it comes to digital transformation. So custom software development that is focused on optimizing the business and driving value for our long-lasting partnerships. But a huge part of our business is also data analytics, and AI. So this is why today we are going to deep dive into this topic. We will have Andre, Senior Solution Architect, and Livio, our AI lead, together with us. You will see, they are basically not just software engineers, they are the wizards that are creating the magic with data and AI. And today they are going to share part of their day-to-day work with you. So very happy to have you here. If you have any questions along the way, please leave them in the dedicated section, because at the end of the session, we are going to have a Q&A in which we're going to reply to all of your questions and curiosities. And I will make sure that I will take them one by one. So Andre, Livio, the floor is yours.
Hello. So we'll start by discussing a bit about the agenda. First, we'll talk about the context of why we need to migrate legacy projects, what are some issues involved in working with such projects, and also we'll look at some of the effects of these projects in the industry. Then we'll go to discussing about the tools we are going to use in this demonstration. Also, we'll discuss the three use cases that are going to also be included in the demo. After that, we are going to talk about the conclusion, and also we're going to have a quick overview of a real-world project migration, also using AI. That's similar to the one used in the demo, but a lot more complex, just to give you an idea about the effort required. Can you move to the next one? Okay. Let's start why we need this. Most of us worked with legacy projects. Few of us actually enjoyed it. The reasons for that are many. Some of them include the lack of documentation. Uh, Projects that are legacy usually are not well documented, or their documentation can be incomplete or obsolete. There's also the problem of a knowledge gap, because the developers that were involved in the project in some cases have left the organization. So there is a need there to actually understand what's in the code base. Another possible obstacle can be the usage of obsolete technology, and this might also prove as an issue to the organization, because they might not find people on the market with the necessary skills to continue developing the project. And of course, because we are talking about legacy projects, even if initially they were written with the time's best practice, over time there were a lot of decision, like let's make a quick fix here, let's make one there, and those decisions have accumulated over time and led to situations like spaghetti coding, or a code that's difficult to understand. Um can you move to the next one? Okay. Can you switch the slide, please? Okay. Um, There is also a pressing need to upgrade, migrate, or refactor legacy projects, because they are plagued by issues like security vulnerabilities. We have unpatched software, weak authentication, insufficient encryption, and even a lack of proper access controls. Another issue can be the one about dependency management. Some dependencies might not even be maintained anymore. We might not have patches for some security vulnerabilities. Of course, we might also have performance issues, because older technology were not made to run on modern hardware with a higher number of CPUs, and other performance issue might cause the users to waste their own time by using the system, leading to a lower productivity for the organization. Another issue is related to high maintenance costs, because in some cases, in order to compensate for the performance issue, there was a decision to just increase the resources, to throw more resources at the problem, and that can lead to a higher cost. Also, there's the problem of licenses and also the problem of finding skilled professionals. And another important issue is the one of limited scalability, because in many cases the systems are not able to adapt to new workloads and new business requirements because of their rigid architecture. Now let's talk numbers. Uh, we know we have a problem in the industry when, for example, legacy systems are used so thoroughly. 74% of organizations recognize that legacy systems are an issue. This can be something they can fix, but actually chose not to because of the risks and costs involved. So we have a waste of opportunity here to develop new code. Also, 70% of budgets are used on maintenance instead of innovation. This can actually lead to a waste of money because we are not generating anything from that investment. Also, 44% of tech professionals have difficulty integrating legacy systems with newer technology. So they are wasting time on that development, which they wouldn't have if they were to use newer technologies. And also, 42% of developer time is spent repairing legacy systems. That's also a waste of time. Um, Other important numbers is that 39% of security leaders see legacy technologies as obsolete. They lack, from a data security perspective, privacy compliance, data encryption, and also strong access controls. 36% of systems in the financial services industry fall below recommended maintainability standards. So the code is not clean, not modular, not well documented, and also not testable. And last of it, 31% of organizations' technology is made of outdated legacy systems or applications. So there's a huge opportunity to automate that migration. Next, Andrei will show you the tools we're going to use.
Yeah, thank you, Liviu. For our demo today, we will be using Cursor. This is an AI-powered IDE, which is basically a smart assistant for coding. What's nice about it is that we can use whichever AI model we want. We only need the API key that we get from the AI model provider, and you just plug it in, and that's it. A nice thing that Cursor has, a nice feature, is that it has different ways of working. It has an ask mode, and where you first plan your actions and what you would actually want to achieve, and analyze the code base and things like that. And there's also an agent way of working, which contains of things like updating files, running commands in the terminal, and things like that. And the nice thing about it is that we can configure separate different AI modules, AI models for each type of action. And this is also nice because it could be a way to make your setup cost efficient, because different AI models have different pricing plans, and you can have the best combination for your actual setup. Cursor can be really can have a really high degree of customizability, because it has a concept called rules. This is like a prompt that's introduced in the settings side of the IDE, and there are different types of rules. There are global rules, which are a set of instructions that will be applied to the prompts over all your AI development experience with Cursor. Here you can have instructions like don't be lazy, or follow best practices, things like that, that should be generic and you would always want to follow. Then you could have project-based rules, where you can have here specific technology details, like specific Java versions that you may want to go or to reach, or maybe you have a previous experience with a particular technology that you are working on the project, and you know about some issues that you encountered, and then and there would be the place to actually describe how you overcame the issue, so that the AI model doesn't have to go to the same process again. And there are also some conditional rules that are applied in some specific conditions. For example, whenever the AI model actually believes it's time for it to actually use it. Even more, Cursor supports MCP servers. This is not the scope of this presentation, the integration with the MCP server. But just to have an idea, we are using Context 7 in our particular case. Context 7, you can think about it as a really big database of framework documentation. So you will, if you go to their website, you can find there a lot of documentation for all the frameworks in the world almost. So why is that good? Because because if you use the AI in development previously, it's a rare chance that you didn't run into a suggestion that looked really nice and actually clean on paper, only to find out that that method was not actually existing, or the library the AI model suggested was not there to begin with. So it was just a hallucination. So using this kind of an MCP server actually helps us with this. Next, yeah, we're going to go over the use cases that Cursor can help us with.
Okay, so there are three use cases we're going to present in this webinar. The first is code analysis, then is documentation generation, and the last is code migration. All of them are going to be included in the demo. Okay, let's start with code analysis. When is this needed? Let's say you're new to a legacy project and you don't know much about it. However, some stakeholder comes with some question about, hey, what technology is used to perform a certain task? And you will be spending a lot of time to identify that in the code base, because it's a new code, so you need to take it by hand and search for it. However, it will be very easy to achieve this using a tool like Cursor. In the example we can see in the slides, we ask Cursor to describe the technologies using the project, and you can see in the image to the right that after receiving the prompt, it splits the task into several steps, and it executes the steps one by one in order to provide an answer. Okay. And in the next slide, we can see the result in the image to the right. And we can see that it's offered a structured result with all the technologies used. They are grouped on several categories. And this can take a couple of seconds. So it's very, very fast. Another step that's very important is how we can ask about a specific implementation. For example, in the example here, we can see a question about pagination in a database integration. And as before, in the image to the right, we can see how everything gets split. It creates a plan to answer you the question. And if we go to the next slide, we can see the result of that query. And the result also provides a level of explainability. So it includes why it took that answer. So the answer basically is no, but then it provides several reasons it used. Another use case, and this is one that's bit higher level and also has an actual output in the file. So this, the first step can be done with using just the ask functionality from Cursor, but the next one is actually agentic. This is documentation generation. In our case, it involves two aspects: generating diagrams and also generating a markdown documentation that includes the generated diagrams. So in a couple of seconds, we are going to do what a lot of developers don't have time to do on the whole, I don't know, duration of a legacy project. We're going to have good documentation. This is in model to model terms, vertical transformation to a higher level of abstraction from code base to documentation and diagrams. Here we can see the prompt on the left. The prompt explains what we want to do, where the results should be saved, and also that we want to use Mermaid to generate the diagrams. Mermaid is good because it can be embedded in the same markdown file as the rest of the documentation, so it's easier to manage. As you can see, it splits the task into several points, and then we have the result, which is well structured, contains information like architecture, features, and so on, but it also has various diagrams. In that case, we can see the component architecture diagram, and here we can see even a flow diagram. If we go next, we go to the code migration, and Andre will present that.
Yeah. Based on the example that Liviu provided just now, the documentation generation is from a model to model standpoint, a vertical migration. Now, our actual use case for the demo today will be a horizontal migration, because we'll have a project that have a certain functionality that will be maintained. The only thing that will be changed is the technology underneath it.
Andre and Liviu, I have a curiosity here. You know me, I'm not a techie, but I really want to understand. So is it okay if we look at this like as a living organism? And can this be stored into our CI/CD pipelines for continuous improvements and development? Because I assume that there will be a lot of changes. You need basically to put it in a way that will allow quick and fast updates and wins. Is this okay to be integrated in the CI/CD?
Yes, but not by using cursor directly. We can use something like Claude Code, which can be run programmatically from a terminal. So that is easy to include in a CI/CD pipeline. And that will allow us to automate everything.
Okay, so the answer is yes, but it depends.
With different tools, but yes.
Good. Thank you, Liviu.
Okay. Continuing. For our particular migration, we let Cursor dive into our code base. As you can see in the picture on the right side, it shows how he actually analyzes our repositories, what files does it read, how he understands how all the components come together and generate a particular flow or a feature. Then another nice thing that Cursor can do along with the AI model is that it can develop an actual migration plan for us, and it breaks it down into clearer steps. We're talking about things like setting up the build infrastructure for the new application, updating the configurations, updating the Java code maybe to a newer version. It can even give rough estimates for each particular step, so that we know how complex it is or how much how much time it might take. But even though Cursor gives us really good solutions and the AI models are continually improving by the month from what we see, we are still the ones that are responsible for the actual code that reaches our database. So it's really important for us that Cursor provides us really after it comes up with a suggestion, there's the point where we have a decision to make. Do we like the suggestion that he came up with? Do we want to change it? Do we want to challenge it and ask it why, how did he come up with that particular suggestion, and then only when we are really satisfied with the result that we came up to, we should actually let the AI agent apply the modifications to our code. And then, as always, bad things happen. So, for example, in this image here, we see that on a previous migration process, we upgraded actually the Gradle wrapper, and cursor did not take into consideration that this property here, archive file name, is not called like that anymore in the new version. So the build failed, but he was able to automatically read the error log from the build, understood what happened, also came up with a suggested fix. And we see here the suggestion that they gave us to change the property name from archive file name to actually archive name. And now, after we are okay with this change, he ran again the build step, and you can see the build ran successfully. And now let's go into the IDE and see how everything goes. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So we have here the project, the workspace, and instead of actually telling you about this project, why not ask AI about it? So if we provide it with a prompt, oh sorry, okay, which is a really simple prompt. I have some some technical difficulties here. 1 second. Okay, like it's a really simple prompt, something like this. So describe in a few lines the project and its technology stack. You will see why this is here a bit later. And yeah, let's see how it goes. You can see these are the modes that we talked about earlier: the agent and the ask ways of working. And you can see we have Claude 3.7 model that will actually do the work for us. So yeah, let's see what it comes up to. So first, what's he doing? It shows us how he actually thinks, and now this is the result. So we can actually see the thought process and how he analyzed the structure of the project. And the result is that this is a Java application built with Spring 3, JSP for view templates, and IBM WebSphere as a deployment platform, and things like that. This is a really high-level description because this is how I expected the output to be in. But why not let's go and actually ask him to generate a more detailed documentation. So I will be asking him here, and we'll move to the agent mode now, because we will want to actually have a file, a markdown file, where we want to have all this documentation. So we want to have a comprehensive documentation for the project, save it in a README file, include mermaid diagrams in the README file, and yeah, again, this you will see about this later. Let's see what it does. Yeah, again, it's analyzing the code, reading the classes and everything, all the components, the JSP files, the configuration files. And basically what we will expect it to do is that we will have a new README file, a new Markdown file that will contain all the documentation and the diagrams. Yeah, it already started creating some diagrams. But yeah, we're expecting it to actually create a new file. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see now, it's creating a file. Which should include all these diagrams. I mean, when I first saw this thing, I was really impressed, and I still am, because yeah, let's close this and actually look at the documentation it provided. So we now have a description about the structure of the project. Okay, it's telling us about the migration process and what we will need to do, and how to actually test that the migration went well. But what we see is that those diagrams that we saw in the chat are not actually added in the Markdown file. We can tell it to add them there, but yeah, I'm not sure if we should do this right now. But let's expand them, and we can see it here. Hopefully you can see them. So with an application from scratch that we didn't know about anything a few seconds ago, now we have a whole architecture diagram that at least gives us a high-level image about how this application is built, what are the configurations, where are them stored. We also have some sequence diagrams that shows us how the data is actually flowing through our application, and the components that are managing the whole flow. Again, the dependencies. As you can see, I was expecting to have them in the actual Markdown file that it generated in some other tries that we did previously. It actually added them there, but yeah, working with AI with an AI agent is not something that you should expect to be replicable 100% of the time. So yeah, the results may vary. And now, knowing that we know the structure of the project, let's move on and actually try to migrate it to a new technology. So at the moment it's using WebSphere, but we want to migrate it to use LifeRay. So what we did, and this is now the point where I talk about this sample workspace, is that this is a bit of help that we provided to the AI agent. Is that we already defined how we want the expected application to look like and to be structured. This amount of work that took here can also be automized and be generated through the help of AI. It actually was generated through the help of AI, but because we have some time constraints here, we wanted to skip a bit this part. But why we added here is that the AI agent to actually have a structure and to have a guide of how we actually want the migrated project to look like. And now we will add the next prompt, that what it does, it will create the new infrastructure of the migrated application for us. So this is just the sample one that we created for it to have kind of an example. But now we would expect him to actually build kind of the same structure where the actual migration will be added in a future prompt. So let's see what happens now.
Okay, it started. Can you tell the public if you've set up any kind of rules for this migration in Cursor?
Yeah, we have some library rules. So these are some generic rules that we added here because we want to have some guidelines when migrating this project. These are things that you can see are that came up from experience, and the nice thing about working with this kind of rules is that they should always be evolving. If you are encountering maybe steps or processes or projects that are kind of similar in structure and the objective that you want to achieve. So if you know that, okay, OSG components are not really the way to go based on what you experienced or maybe based on what you researched, this would be a good place to store this kind of information so that the AI model can take them into consideration. Sorry. Yeah, so what we see is that based on the sample workspace structure, the agent actually generated for us everything. It generated the package structure, which is in a similar fashion as the sample one. It generated the build gradle and things like that for us to just have to then move the existing application configuration and only update it to the new technology. So yeah, let's actually do that and see how it goes. As a way of working, we notice that it's always good to have new chats when working with Cursor, because having more responsibilities or more complex tasks or maybe different tasks in the same chat tends to make the agent hallucinate sometimes, and we don't really want that. So okay, we want to migrate the existing application, IBM Portal application, to the new library module structure that we just created. We want to bring the logic that the AI will migrate in this new generated portlet module, and also configure all the configurations needed. And then at the end, in order to test that everything works well, the AI agent will actually run this command to see if everything went fine. Let's see. Then close everything here. I notice I have the tendency that when I am working with the AI agent to actually the screen that actually holds the code tends to get smaller and smaller the more that I'm working with the AI agent, because somehow this is now the more interesting part. So this is just the output. So yeah, I think maybe this would be the direction the development goes in the future, where we don't actually really look at the code, but it's more important the interaction with the agent. Okay, so now it's trying to create the directories. Let's actually follow it here. So it at the moment only created this directory. Now he's following the same structure as the sample portlet that he brought, but now this one should also have the actual business logic. Yeah, as you can see, we are always asked to accept any kind of actions that may be damaging in a way to the project. Yeah, and let's say I'm not agreeing with this change that he proposed here. What I could do is just stop him and challenge him here, and then he will go to. He will revert the changes, basically not actually reverted because they are not at this point, they are not actually introduced in our code base. They are only in kind of a temporary state. Only when I click on accept on each of them, or maybe accept all if I'm okay with all the proposed changes, they will be actually added in the code. So yeah, it's actually looking fine. The build Gradle, it generated some keys on the controllers. Okay.
Looks good for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that if you notice an issue, you can stop it and ask it to correct the whole process. Will it resume for where it was left after the correction happens?
Yeah, exactly. So if I were to stop it here and say, should we try this?
Well,
Let's
what
try
we
this.
have to lose, so
Let's try this. Yeah. So let's say instead of go to second page, I would I don't like that name of that label of the button, and I would like maybe something like change the label of the second button to be I don't know, continue to the secondary page. Let's see how it goes. So he's now trying to understand what I asked him to do, and you see he did just as I just what I expected him to do, and now it's waiting for me to accept the change proposed, and now he will continue with the. Oh no, he won't continue with the migration because I stopped him. I stopped the flow. So now,
I guess.
yeah. Let's resume the migration process from where you left off. Okay, let's see. So now you can see that now it's creating JSP files based on the previous project, but now with the new technology tags. So it's using now liferay tags in the JSP files. Yeah, I like them. Okay, it's now configuring the whole application context and with the Spring Beans and everything else. Oh, I see. He forgot an error JSP. So as you can see, our work now is just to review mostly the code that's being generated, not actually writing the code ourselves. Okay, now it's doing the finishing touches. Okay, and he feels confident that the migration went fine and it's done. And yeah, let's see how the clean build works. Oh, okay, nice. The build failed. Let's see. And now, as you can see, it's already started to look into the error log and see what's going on there. Okay, he feels that a dependency should not have been there because it's not used. I'm not so sure about this proposed change, but let's see how it goes. Okay, so that was not the case. Yeah, so as you can see here, now it's it's a good example of him going. Uh, I'll just stop the process. What's he doing at the moment is just changing the plan completely because he ran into a small issue. So this is what you should be looking out for, because if you're not if you're not paying close attention to what the AI agent is doing, he's going to change completely the whole code for a simple error. So at the moment we'll just reject this. Should we actually try to fix it at the moment right now, or should we continue with the presentation? Roxana, what do you think?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, let's see what was the actual issue. Sorry. Because
And being mindful of the time, we also have some super interesting questions in the Q&A section.
Okay,
So,
go for it.
Good. So the first question is, do you think that the use of AI will lead to fewer jobs for software engineers? I know this is a tricky one, and it might have multiple answers, but what's your take on it, guys?
Well, probably some jobs were lost when we've moved from punching cards to using assembly language or higher level programming languages. But on the long term, I don't think that's going to be the case because we'll simply do more and we'll still need a lot of people. So probably just in the short term, we might see a bit of a dip in the number of people. What do you think, Andre?
Yeah, I'm. I think the role will kind of transition to a more to be more like a reviewer of the code and not actually writing the code yourself, but to know really well what's going on and maybe have some testing in place. Maybe I think that the testing side of the software development will increase in its importance, because as you can see now. Like the AI models can provide code with issues and errors, and we need to find them early. The moment there is an issue,
I'm totally with you. I also think that uh, we won't have fewer software engineer jobs, but the role will AI to be more productive and to basically transform the way you write code. So we are aligned. Then the next question is, what course or subscription was used during the demo and the real world project?
Okay, so in the demo we didn't use a course of subscription. We are using actually an let me show you. So this is where you configure your AI models that you want to use. You can have you can have a subscription. I actually have one, but you can also use, as I mentioned, an API key that that's being provided from the that you get from your provider. For example, you can use an Anthropic API key, maybe a Google API key for Gemini, or the ones for, you see, it supports Azure Open API and AWS Bedrock for the model connectivity. Let me see. So I see that the actual issue is with
Then
Yep.
Lucian is.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, I'm just talking out loud, debugging this issue. So I see that the AI tried to use this class, but he didn't have it. This dependency here that he suggested to introduce may actually solve the problem, but from what I remember in our demo, this wasn't actually the case. But yeah, we can try and see.
Let's see.
Yeah. Oh,
And maybe
yeah, go on.
yeah. No. I was thinking that up until you're trying, Liv, you can try to answer the next question so that we.
Yeah. The one from Lucian or something else?
We can go with the one the next one, and Andre can take the one from Lucian because it's also related to cursor. So
Okay.
have you got any experience using the tool on COBOL, C, SQL, and Oracle forms?
No, so far we haven't used it on technologies like COBOL or C. We've generated SQL, but not necessarily PLSQL. And no, we haven't used Oracle Forms so far. However, from what I've no, if it's something that can be written in a textual form, and if there is enough documentation of the technology online, it should be able to manage it without a lot of issue. However, if we need more context, it will be useful to use something like Context 7, an MCP server that will point to the right documentation for that specific technology. For example, in our case, we're using something to point to live free documentation. We've used Context 7 for that, and reconfigured it in the project, I think, in the documentation section, if I'm not wrong. And similar solution can be used if the results out of the box are not good enough, for example, for COBOL or Oracle Forms. However, if it's something that's pretty standard and there's a lot of material available online on that technology, there shouldn't be any issues because life in our case is a rather niche technology.
Okay, thank you, Livio. I see that Andre is smiling. So do we have?
I found the issue. It actually it's the issue that Livio just mentioned. Being that liferay is such a niche technology, the documentation is not exhaustive, let's say, and the AI model does not know exactly how all the methods are named and things like that. So I see that it's trying to get the namespace for the portlet name, and instead of getting it from the request, it's trying to add the namespace as the portlet name. Okay, I'm not that fond of this change because I'm not sure that this is the correct value. But yeah, we'll have to take that over and see. Okay.
And Andre, I think this is where the beauty lies, right? Where the software engineer role will have a huge impact in exactly understanding what you just said and not being happy with basically what you see or the proposal that AI made, and then trying to find other ways, trying to stay creative using the critical thinking. It's exactly about the transformation of the role that we discussed.
Exactly. As you can see, the build is now successful, with this caveat that this may not be the actual correct value. But yeah, okay. I would rather have to investigate this issue and how this method, how this property is actually called, and do this kind of research than create this whole infrastructure and migrate the application from one place to another. I mean, if you only think about the time aspect of this process, it's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So go back to the questions, and Lucian is asking, can Cursor access private GitHub repository using our credentials?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't do this at the moment, but yeah, I remember. So you can use an MCP server for the Cursor integration the same way we use it for the Context 7. You can GitHub has an MCP server that you can use to connect to your private repository, just as you mentioned, with the proper credentials. So yeah, the clear. The migration went fine. Now the build is passing. Let's go. Let's continue with our presentation.
We just have 4 more
Okay.
minutes, so let's focus on wrapping up and sharing the most important insights with the audience.
Yeah.
For the ones that share, we have 2 more questions in the section, but we will make sure we will follow up on those separately because we will go into to stick with the time. So some words at the end, Andrei, leave you.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it here. You saw it here on the first hand. Like the results are not predictable. I mean, not actually predictable, but not that repeatable as us as developers would want them to be, so that we can replicate it again and again and again, following the same instructions. Just as a developer, because we are all different, and we may all take different approaches. This is the way that the AI agent also does it.
And Andrei, from your perspective, what will be the most important takeaway when we're discussing about AI-powered migration?
Be curious and stay alert. Stay alert, because it's not perfect yet. Maybe it will be in the future, and we will just we just have confidence that okay, the AI will take care of the development for us. But until then, yeah, you see that there's still attention to be spent here.
Thank you, Andrei.
I think we lost Roxana. Yeah.
We can hear you, Roxana.
Yeah.
Now I can hear you.
And I can hear you as well.
Okay, can you repeat, please, the question?
What is your takeaway when it comes to AI-powered migration?
Yes. Well, it can seriously improve the speed at which we deliver results. However, it's best to do a lot of research before and to make sure that the rules we set in the project are covering enough, and also try to make the prompts as clear as possible, because the AI will always try to take the easy way out, because of course it was trained on our responses from sites like GitHub and so on. So it will always take a bit of the best and the worst from humans. So it gives up too easily. It can be lazy. It can also be more creative than needed for certain situations. And everything is something that you are going to see in such a migration.
Thank you, Livio. And this brings us to the end of our session. The time is up. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today. And guys, thank you for being with us. Hopefully it was an insightful session for you. And we are waiting for you for our next webinar, which will be in July. And just please take 1 more minute to fill in the feedback form from the chat. This really helps us improving for the next. And see you in July.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.